After your fight, there are two big fights this summer: McGregor, Mayweather, and Golovkin, Canelo. As a fighter, which fight is the most interesting to you, and why?
For me, it's Golovkin and Alvarez, because it's a real boxing. Because it's very interesting. It's two top fighters. Of course, Mayweather and McGregor, it's interesting, but you know, it's for me it's like a theater. For me, it's like a show, maybe a circus.
You mentioned, you know, obviously you're looking forward to both Canelo Triple G and Mayweather McGregor, but Mayweather McGregor is, you said, a little more of a circus. I know you personally have history. You sparred T.J. Dillashaw, who's a former MMA, UFC bantamweight champion. What could you tell us about the difference in boxing in MMA from that sparring session? Like, what could you tell that was different about what he was doing that, like other boxers you've sparred before?
Можешь мне перевести до конца, чтобы я понял?
Он говорит, мы знаем, что ты как бы сейчас ожидаешь как бы, ну, Канело Головкина, да, и Макгрегор Мейвезер. А никто не может так сказать, как ты, потому что ты спарринговал с Дилашо. Можешь сказать, какие это преимущества там или разница, что делают ММА бойцы и что делают боксеры?
Нельзя назвать, вот Макгрегора нельзя точно сравнивать вот как с бойцами UFC, потому что он нетипичный боец UFC. Он больше, у него бойцовская ударная техника, он мало борется, и он очень, все свои бои практически он боксирует в стойке. Здесь больше я сравнил бы, наверное, с кикбоксингом, бокс и кикбоксинг, чем UFC и бокс. Преимущество здесь одно. Один занимается всю свою жизнь боксом, второй решил за пару лет на имени просто выйти и заработать денег. Вот и все.
You can't compare McGregor to the UFC fighters because he is different from UFC fighters. Most of the time, he's always in a boxing stand. So you probably can compare McGregor more to a kickboxer instead of an MMA or UFC fighter. He doesn't wrestle much. He fights more. He has the power. So it's very hard to you know, I wouldn't be comparing him to the MMA fighter. And but the difference, the biggest difference is one guy is working and preparing all his life, and another guy just became in a year or so, and because of his name, he finally wants to make a lot of money.
When you, because McGregor said that he's going to knock out Mayweather in 4 rounds, and he says that he's going to do it with, you know, Mayweather's might have his guard up and he's going to hit him kind of through the gloves, and that's still going to hurt him, that's still going to rock him. Does that even, like, when you hear that, does that make sense? I mean, Mayweather's obviously been hit with his gloves up and everything like that many times before by professional boxers. What do you take when Conor says something like that?
Конор сказал, что он, если он будет использовать свою перчатку как защиту, то есть я его могу даже нокаутировать через перчатку. А как ты можешь прокомментировать его такие высказы?
Это нормальный настрой на бой, это правильный настрой на бой. А что вы хотели, чтобы он сказал вам в эфире, что там и вот всем журналистам? Я выйду просто отработать свой чек, и я выйду и меня будут избивать там, и меня нокаутируют. Ну, он правильно все говорит, все преподносит, народ это хавает, вот он и играет с вами.
Yeah, it's a very right way to say to him. He does this announcement, and what would you like to hear it? Telling him, well, I'm just gonna go in the ring, I'm gonna get my paycheck, and I'm gonna go home. Is that what you wanted to hear it? He's feeding you guys with all these comments, and you eating it. So he does a very good job.
Talking about this circus, the fight McGregor and Mayweather, who wins more, boxing or MMA?
Кто ты думаешь больше выиграет, бокс или ММА?
Здесь?
Да.
Интересный вопрос. Я не знаю. Я думаю, что, наверное, ММА.
Выиграет больше, да?
Ну да.
I think it's a very interesting question, but I think MMA gonna be win more than boxing here.
Потому что те, которые разбираются в боксе, ну, они понимают, что здесь происходит. А те, кто не разбираются в нем, ну, здесь больше приходят, наверное, посмотреть на Макгрегора, как мне кажется.
The guy, people, audience who understands boxing, they know what's going to happen. And people who is not understands, so most of the guys who just don't understand much boxing, they're going to go to see MMA.
And the same question for you, sorry, for you. I need your point of view. I mean, the same question for you.
Well, it's not a secret, you know. MMA and UFC today has much bigger audience than boxers. You know, if you look at the buys, what they selling at pay-per-views, and you look at the people who's viewing MMA, it's completely different. You know, they're selling at stadiums, and you know, boxers just maybe few of it. So I think personally, it's T-Mobile Arena going to be filled up with maybe 20%, 15% of boxing fans, and the rest of the arena is going to be filled up with MMA fans and people who like the show.